Ian, the League Cup is almost over. We've got one big game against Hamilton at Starks Park to finish the League Cup campaign, and of course, even with 3 points, there is no certainty that we will qualify. Is that on your mind, or are you just focused on trying to get the win first and foremost?
No, I think we're fully focused on trying to get the win, regardless. Even if we were sitting at the moment out of the competition, we'd always try and win the game. It's our last game before the league campaign starts. It's our last home game of the pre-season schedule, albeit competitive, so we go out and try and win the game. Our players are fully focused on doing that. The staff are fully focused on doing that. What happens in other places, we literally can't do anything about it. So as long as we get to the 9-point mark, which normally is enough for you in this competition, then we feel like we've done our bit, and then we'll check scores.
With the challenge being against an opposition who will be coming up against quite a few times this season with Hamilton, does that change the way that you'll be setting up for this game, or is it just a case of get out there and try and win the tie?
No, we'll set up as we would any championship game at home. Obviously, things within the game will dictate how we have to react and what we need to try and do. But our mantra is win the game and then have a good performance on the pitch. And when you have good performances, you tend to try and or you tend to win more games than you lose. We know the two teams go into this in different circumstances, but we both go into it with the one aim, and that is to be ready for the start of the season, to get a win a week before the season starts. So I expect a really tough game when Hamilton come here on Saturday afternoon. They've signed some really good quality players in the summer window. They have done remarkably well, in my opinion, to bounce back from relegation in the first season, because it's really difficult, and they'll be looking to be a team that contends this year.
With there being so many games being played in this League Cup, Tuesdays and Saturdays, it's given yourself and your backroom staff an opportunity to start looking at opposition and start looking at games. You'll have watched Hamilton on Tuesday. What kind of things are we expecting to see, and what kind of things are we expecting to do against them? Yeah,
it has given us an opportunity. As I said, after the first sort of round of games, you start to get your data and your videos and all this stuff through, so you're better prepared than certainly we were 2 to 3 weeks ago. I went to watch Hamilton in person on Tuesday evening. I felt they were very unfortunate, a bit like ourselves against Ross County, not to pick anything up from the game, but again, it's about winning games, especially in cup competitions. I expect it to be a really tough game. As I say, they've added really good players to their team. They play a really rigid system. They've got players that can play it very well. They've got good attacking options now as well, really strong in the front area of the park, and they've got good experience in defence where they tend to play a back three and keep it nice and tight. So we know, and it's going to be a tough game on Saturday. It doesn't get any easier, and it's certainly not going to be easy against Hamilton.
You're building up to the game and you're preparing. You've said earlier that you're just going to treat this like we know what we've got to do. We've got to get the win. During the game, will you be keeping an eye on other results that's going on around you to see where we might be ending up, or if we're going through? Or
I think if we can get a foothold in our game first and foremost, and maybe get a lead, then we have to have a wee look around and see what we need to do. If we can get a couple of goals up, fantastic, as hard as that will be, and then we probably seriously have to look around and see what's happening elsewhere. But we have to remain really focused on getting the 3 points. We can't take our eye off the ball at all in terms of that. And as I say, if we come off the park with 3 points and takes us to 9 with a plus X amount goal difference, and we don't qualify for the next round, then I feel we'll be very unfortunate.
When you look at the squad that you've managed to build together, you've had a number of weeks now where not just the pre-season but also starting to see them in games and things. Will we see much changing around and rotation and things like that to try and keep people's legs fresh, or because we've had the Saturday to Saturday, will you be quite happy with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the first time we've had a Saturday to Saturday since our first week of pre-season, so it's a wee bit further down the line. I think having such a strong squad allows me to put anybody out on the pitch and feel confident with what we have. We're not really playing players out of position too often so far. Formations obviously dictate a little bit in who plays and who doesn't play. We've picked up a few bumps and bruises in the last 7 days, so we have to assess them over the next 48 hours and see what we've got. But again, we go into the game feeling confident, we go into it feeling strong. We've got good quality players. We realise and recognise that some players have played more minutes than others, which is pretty normal, but I feel that some of the players have come back from their summer break in really good condition and really high in confidence, and showing us really good quality in the park. And of course, as you get closer to that first league game in particular, you have to try and be a wee bit more settled. But I think people saw it last year. We've got so many good options in the in the middle to front area in particular, that we can play anybody. We're very, very comfortable and happy with what we have. We know on our day we're a very, very good side, but we also know on our day when we don't quite go there and we don't have our foot on the gas as much as we should have, then it's a tough afternoon.
Well, brilliant. Ian, thanks very much for coming in and good luck for Saturday.
Thank you.